Friday is the 10th anniversary of the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan, so we've been doing more reporting from there this week. Some people wonder why the war is taking so long. We got a good sense of one reason when we went on patrol with a platoon led by a young American lieutenant in the fields and villages of Kandahar Province.
Roger, the marijuana's not that thick.
Greg Durso from Lynbrook, New York, is 2 months into his first combat tour.
It's like Vietnam.
As a lieutenant in the 287th Infantry,
it's going to put us in a danger area.
Yeah, I see that.
He leads his own platoon, 40 Americans and 30 Afghan soldiers. What has been your worst day?
I think any leader can say that his worst day is when you lose your own men. You're given this gift of these American sons, and their families entrust their lives to you. But this is war. I mean, there are some things you just cannot avoid, and losing people feels like losing your own children.
Durso's lost 2 men, both to homemade landmines. They find dozens of them every week. If it seems we've been in Afghanistan a long time, watch these boots. You don't cover much ground when you worry over every step. It might take hours to cross 100 yards. The new lieutenant has learned, leave the path, go the hard way.
Better wet than dead.
The homemade mines don't spark underwater.
If you can walk through water the whole time, you'll do it.
Durso went to West Point because he wanted to serve in Afghanistan.
That way we can keep moving east.
When we asked him why, he told us about a childhood friend who waited for a father who would never come home.
The day after 9/11, I remember being at her house, and she got real quiet, and she eventually looked back at me and said, "Who's going to walk me down the aisle when I get married?" It wasn't just an event to me, it was people. It was my own people, it was my own town. To be able to see something like that and still decide not to do anything was like ludicrous to me.
Now he's learning this new terrain, like the long mud walls that support the grape rows here. They hide the enemy and slow the march. One of the unique things about fighting in this part of Afghanistan are these structures that are called grape huts. This is where the farmers in this region take their grapes and dry them into the raisins that this part of Afghanistan is famous for. But the insidious thing for U.S. forces is that these grape hut walls, these mud walls, are more than 2 feet thick. The American rifle cannot penetrate this, and yet there are all of these slits that are just perfect for snipers. The troops find weapons caches in grape huts.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grenade fuses.
And the huts are often booby-trapped, so Durso's men clear them with explosives. While Durso steps lightly, he also walks a fine line. Protecting his men often alienates the farmers that he's trying to win over. This man's house was damaged in the mine-clearing explosion. He tells the soldiers, "My house is destroyed." He's exaggerating. The damage to his house was small and the soldiers will pay him. But if you ask why the path in Afghanistan is so long, one lieutenant will tell you it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
If I destroy a grape hut, in the long run, does that help or hurt me? Okay, yeah, maybe in the short run, I got rid of 2 insurgents. Great, you might have found a cache. But then weeks down the road, does that hurt you when those farmers who own that grape hut are saying, well, these guys blew up my livelihood? I mean, this is a process that requires a people's change of heart, and that is not something you see overnight.
Lieutenant Durso is on an 8-year enlistment. He added 3 years to get the Army's guarantee that he would be in the infantry in Afghanistan.